So last week, Pastor Todd talked to us about entertainment, right? He talked to us about media, okay? And he wasn't saying ditch your Netflix or ditch your social media or ditch your Spotify. He wasn't saying that at all. What he was saying and what he was trying to get us to do was to just think critically about our media, think analytically, kind of try and put a filter on our lives, like, is this good for me? Is this healthy? Like what I'm watching and how much I'm watching, or think about it. That's all we're trying to get you to do here, okay? And tonight is pretty similar. But before we go there, I just want to recap a little bit more about the verse that Pastor Todd talked about last week. Anybody remember what it was? Ace, I saw your hand. You know? He almost knew. All right, I'll give you a piece of candy, the last piece of candy, whoever gets it. Or I get to keep it for myself. It was Romans 12, 1 and 2. Romans 12, hey, Byron's like, I want that candy, man. All right, so Romans 12, 1 and 2 says, therefore, I urge you, brothers, in view of God's mercy, to offer your bodies as living sacrifices, holy and pleasing to God. He says this is your spiritual act of worship. Okay? He says, do not conform any longer to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you'll be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. And the reason I'm going back to last week, and I'm saying that verse again, is because that was the first passage that anyone ever encouraged me to memorize all of it, okay? So I was in 8th or 9th grade Sunday school. We still had Sunday school back then, right? A little bit of old school church, right? So I was in 8th or 9th grade. My Sunday school teacher, we were reading out of Romans 12. And he said, guys, I'll give the first person that memorizes this whole chapter $20. So I'm like, hey, I'm pretty cheap, right? My wife can tell me, I'm pretty cheap, right? I can be bought. And so I was like, all right, $20, I'll do that. You know, and about halfway through the chapter, I realized I was getting a lot more than just $20 out of it, right? Yeah. Okay, so anyways, Romans 12 has a very special place in my heart because it put me on a trajectory to start memorizing Scripture and memorizing large chunks of Scripture, right? All right, so I'm making all the students that offer as well. Okay, so first person that comes to me, okay, hey, Rob, I'm going to recite Romans 12 to you. I'll make you the same offer. I'll pay you $20 for that. All right, for real, I'm serious. And if you're the second, third, or fourth person, we'll work something out, okay? All right, y'all can be bought too. I like it. All right, but that's not what we're talking about tonight, okay? What we're talking about tonight is cell phones. This thing, right? Okay, the tension in the room just ratcheted up a level. All right, I could feel it. Y'all like, I lost half of you right there, and that's okay. All right, so I want to be perfectly clear from the beginning. I'm not coming at y'all condemning you for your cell phones. Okay, I've got one, you've got one. You guys have heard that enough? Like, let's be honest, can I get an amen for that? You've been condemned for your cell phone use enough as it is. So that's not where I'm coming from tonight. So let's take that tension back down a little bit. Just relax, okay? So the goal tonight is the exact same as the goal last week, okay? And that's just to get you to start thinking about it, right? Start thinking about, last week it was about the media that you're consuming. This week it's about this thing, all right? Start thinking analytically. Start thinking critically about it. Now I get it. A lot of adults are on their phones just as much as you guys are. They're just checking their email or stocks rather than TikTok and Twitter, right? Okay, all right. I can see some of y'all are like, amen, brother, right? Okay, so all that to say, I'm not coming down on y'all. Like, I'm a millennial Gen Zer, right? So I was born in I was born in 1997. They don't really know what to do with us. Okay, so like some people say like 95 is the cutoff and you're a Gen Z, or some people say, no, before 2000 you're millennials. They don't really know what I am, right? So I grew up in this age of like Facebook became a thing, right? Okay, and then Instagram took the world by storm, right? And Snapchat and cell phones, right? And whenever I was in like 7th grade, first iPhone came out, okay? And then all my friends started getting iPhones, we all started getting smartphones. And so we were like the first generation that all of this stuff, all this media, all this new tech started coming out, and they just said, here, figure it out, right? Okay, so we were like the first guinea pigs, right? Okay, and y'all are like the second round of guinea pigs. Okay, so we're all figuring this out together. I'm with you. I have my phone. I was not born with a phone in my hands, but from adolescence on, absolutely. Okay, my first 2 phones, I think we've got a picture of them up here on the screen. They were beautiful, they really were. First one was called a Nokia Mural. Hey, let's go for Nokia, right? Okay, that one on the left with the flip. What? Hey, they're bringing back the flip phone. Have y'all seen that? They're bringing back the flip phone. I'm kind of excited about it. Hey, this thing was awesome though. Whenever you got a text message, it would have that blue light would like light up and you go, ooh, okay, and you'd like dive across the room for it. Okay, my second phone was a real upgrade. It was this LG something or another, okay? But that thing, man, you had the slide action. We're not flipping anymore. You are sliding, okay? You got a full keyboard. Guys, full keyboard's revolutionary, okay? Like on par with the internet, full keyboards on phones. So that was my second phone, okay? And then after that, I joined the rest of the world and got like some kind of smartphone, okay? So, anyways, I'm with you, all right? I'm with you, is what I'm trying to say here. And there's nothing evil about your phone, right? There's nothing inherently wrong about this hunk of circuitry and glass and plastic, right? Okay? And like, think about it. We can do so much good with our phones, right? I can look up anything I want. Like any fact in the world, like not like nuclear secrets or something, but almost any fact in the world, I can look up on my phone. Okay, we can keep in touch with like people that moved halfway around the country, right? Friends from school and whatnot. I can call anyone, anywhere in the world. I've got friends like literally on the other side of the world, and I can talk to them. It's crazy. Like you can take these awesome photos. There's really cool, good things that can come from having a phone. Okay, let's just be honest. Can y'all say amen to that? All right, cool. So, next question I've got for you guys is, you hear all this negativity about your phones, and you hear some people saying, well, no, phones are good. Look at all the good that you can have. So is my phone good or bad? Okay, that's the question, right? Is my phone good or bad? And they're like, it's good, brother, come on. But that's the question we're asking tonight, okay? And like most questions, it doesn't have just a black or white answer, right? It's not just super obvious, yes, it's good. No, it's bad, all right? So what we're gonna do is what we usually do, okay? We are unashamedly Christian here, okay? If your friend just like kind of like kidnapped you and said like, they got candy, come on, let's go, and this is your first time here, like this is church, okay, if you couldn't tell. Like we are unashamed about that and unashamed about everything that we teach and preach comes from this book right here, okay? It comes from the Bible, right? So what does the Bible say about cell phones? Anybody know? Okay, I've read through the Bible a few times now. It's another thing I would encourage you to do. Start reading at the very beginning all the way to the end. The first time I started doing that, I was younger than you guys, your guys' age, right? Start doing that. It ain't in there. Ain't no Apple iPhone in the Bible, right? Now maybe in Leviticus, it kind of hides some stuff. Like you get to that part in the Bible, you're just reading as fast as you can. Like I promise, okay? But I don't think it's in there. Okay, but what else isn't in the Bible, right? Doesn't talk about dating, not really. That's kind of a big one, right? Doesn't talk about vaccines, climate change, Disneyland, chemotherapy, marijuana, video games. None of that's mentioned in the Bible, right? None of it. So how do we have an opinion on that as Christians? I don't see it in there. All right, so that's the question. And I want y'all to know that just because something isn't explicitly mentioned, isn't stated, the word isn't in the Bible, doesn't mean that the Bible doesn't have an extreme amount of relevance to that subject. Doesn't bear an extreme amount of weight on what that subject is. All of those things I just mentioned, we could go and we could dive into this book and see what it has to say about them. Okay? I promise, you really can. All right, so with that said, what does the Bible have to say about this theme or this idea? Next verse, this is kind of our home base for the night, is 1 Corinthians 10:23. If you've got a Bible, go ahead and flip there with me. I love having the pages, like actual pages right there in front of me. Go ahead and bring them to church. I just encourage you to do that. So 1 Corinthians 10:23, it says, I have the right to do anything, you say, but not everything is beneficial. I have the right to do anything, but not everything is constructive. Okay, so let me give you a little bit of background about this verse. 1 Corinthians, okay, so this is a letter written to the church at, anybody know? Corinth. Okay, a little bit of Bible factoid for you. That's why it's called 1 Corinthians. It was written to the church at Corinth. So Paul went and planted this church at Corinth, and then he left and he planted a whole bunch of other churches because that's what Paul did. He was a bad A, right? And so he did that, and then the Corinthians are there like, we're new baby Christians, and we don't know what the heck to do, right? Used to, we could do this, but now can we do that? Used to, they said I couldn't eat, like, bacon. Now can I eat bacon? Like, all this kind of things of, like, I'm a new Christian, and I don't know how this applies to me. So what do I do with this, Paul? So they wrote Paul a letter asking him all these questions, all right? That letter we don't have anymore, but we do have Paul's response to that letter in 1 Corinthians, okay? So Paul, he was an actual guy, he sat down, or he had someone else sit down and wrote this letter. And in that letter, he says, I have the right to do anything you say. All right, so in the letter that they sent him, apparently they had gotten a little carried away with the whole grace aspect of Christianity, right? They got a little carried away with it, and they're like, man, I can do anything now. Like, God says I'm good before him, I have the right to do anything. And Paul's like, well, slow down. You have the right to do anything you say, but guys, not everything is beneficial. You might have the right to do something, but not everything is constructive. Okay? So instead of wanting to go forward with Jesus as fast as they could and as hard as they could, they wanted to know how much they could get away with and still be good with God. I'm going to come up on the stage just to illustrate this for a second. So like, let's imagine that like Jesus is over here, right? All right, so Jesus is over there, and in our Christian walk, we're supposed to be running after Jesus, right? Y'all have heard that. So you're supposed to be like taking it off full tilt, hard as you can, that direction. And so these guys, they're not asking Paul like, hey, can I run that direction and still be good with God? Like they're not asking, can I do something overtly sinful? They're just like, well, Jesus is there. Can I go this direction? You know, and they're like, can I tiptoe right up to that line? Like, is this okay, God? Like, is this okay? They're going right up to the edge of that cliff of what is and is not sinful. And they're asking, is this okay? Okay? So Paul's saying that's the wrong question, guys. It's the wrong question. So like, can I be on my phone X hours a day? Can I be on my phone, can I do this on my phone? It's the wrong question. Paul would say, but look, is it beneficial? Okay? So that's why I want to ask you guys to ask yourself tonight. Don't just listen to me. I want you to really be honest with yourself and ask yourself, is how you're using your phones good? Is it beneficial? Is it constructive? Here's the word. Is it wise? Okay? Roll all of that up into one and ask yourself, am I a better person because of how I spend my time on my phone? Because of my phone. Okay? You're like, well, you see. Okay, so that's the question. So let's take an example. Let's talk about just scrolling. All right, pick an app. Pick your favorite app. Whatever it is. If it's TikTok, if it's Pinterest, if it's any of y'all are still on Facebook, if it's Instagram, whatever it is. Y'all know what I'm talking about? You can sit there, and it's late at night, and you're supposed to be going to sleep, and you're like, boom, boom. And you can sit there, and the little algorithm's just feeding you more of exactly what you want to see, and so you're like, wow, and then you just more and more and more, and you just start scrolling and scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. So let's talk about that. And remember, I'm not harping on you guys, right? You remember that. But I am thinking that mindless, endless scrolling because you're bored, I'm not saying that's an overt sin. I'm saying maybe it's not the most beneficial thing. Maybe it's not constructive. Maybe it's not pushing you closer to God. Okay? Maybe it's not making you a better person. Like, whenever you get done, and I do that, right? I do that. Like, sometimes it's just like, I'm done. I don't want to think about anything. I'm just going to sit there and I'm going to scroll. Okay? Pick a nap. You're just going to scroll, and it feels kind of good while you're doing it. You don't have to think about anything else, and being entertained and whatnot. And then afterwards, you feel kind of like a zombie, right? Can I get an amen on that? Y'all know what I'm talking about? You kind of feel like, and you're like, just kind of like, wow, okay. You're kind of like a zombie. You're not really like alive. You're not your most chipper, whatever, okay? And that's if it's a good day. Like, on a bad day, I start feeling a little anxious, yeah? On a bad day, there's all kind of science saying like you start feeling kind of claustrophobic, okay, that the symptoms actually match that, okay? On a bad day, you get off that, and it was fine while you were scrolling, but at the end of it, you're a little depressed, if we're going to be honest with ourselves, right? And it's like, well, yeah, like maybe it's not beneficial. Maybe it's not constructive. Maybe you've been staring at like pictures of everyone else and how good their life is, and like, look at my friends and how awesome we are and how much fun we're having. And you're like, hey, I got a lot of crap in my life, and I ain't posting about that. And you're like, but all of these people seem to have it all together, right? Y'all have heard this story before. That's the problem with social media, right? And so absolutely, yeah. You start staring at all of these people and how great their lives are and how put together it is. And no wonder you're a little like depressed, because ain't no one's life like that. Not in reality, right? So scrolling, that's just one example. Is it beneficial? I don't know. I want you to ask yourself, not just listen to what I say to you, okay? Let's go to this next quote. It's from a guy called C.S. Lewis, okay, in a book called The Screwtape Letters, okay? I love this book. It's really good. I commend it to you guys as well. You've heard Pastor Tim talk about this book. Basically, the gist of the book is that you've got this chief demon, okay, we'll read it here in a second. You've got this chief demon, right? Yeah, demon, they are real, right? We can say that. And he's basically teaching this lesser demon how to be a demon, right? How to keep God's people from following God. How to keep everyone else that isn't a Christian from becoming a Christian. Okay, so whenever he says like you, he's talking to that lesser demon. And whenever he says him or the patient, he's talking about me. He's talking about Daryl there. Okay? Call you out. So, let's read it now. I know I'm committing a little bit of a presentation sin with this many words on the screen, but y'all just bear with me, okay? It says you can keep him up, so you, the little demon, can keep him, the human, up late at night, not roistering, that's just another word for partying, but staring at a dead fire in a cold room. All the healthy and outgoing activities which we want him to avoid can be inhibited and nothing given in return. So that at last he may say, as one of my own patients said on his arrival down here being hell, I now see that I spent most of my life in doing neither what I ought nor what I liked. All right, so let's focus in on that first sentence there. You can keep them up late at night, not roistering, not partying, but staring at a dead fire in a cold room. Let's apply that to you guys. Apply that to me. How many of you have been stayed up late at night, well past whenever your body actually should have been going to bed, not staring at, in C.S. Lewis's day, a cold fire, but staring at your phone? Okay? I'm saying that there are ways that this thing is very detrimental. It can be very a weapon of the enemy even, okay? That's what he's saying right here. He's saying, look, we can just get him so consumed on this. Like, he's not enjoying himself. He's not alive. She's not excited. She's not full of life or anything. He's just staring at a phone for hours and hours and hours. Okay? So guys, what I want to encourage you is don't get to the end of your life and realize that a lot of it was wasted, right? Okay, yeah, I hear that a lot. Okay, well, let me bring it home a little more. Don't get you to the end of your school year and realize it was wasted. Don't get to the end of your day and realize that it was wasted. Don't get to the end of youth group and realize it was wasted for any reason. Okay? What we're talking about tonight, the reason being because of this thing. Remember, I'm not harping on you guys. There's really incredible things you can do with this. But just think about it. Is how I'm using it beneficial? Is it good? Is it constructive? Is it wise? Let's look at some other Bible verses, okay? Romans 12:2. Ring a bell? Anybody? Talked about it earlier, right? What does it say? Are you being transformed? Well, it tells us to be transformed. So in a question sense, are you being transformed by the renewing of your mind? Ask yourself that about what you're doing on your phone. Is your mind being renewed by that? Okay? 2 Corinthians 10:5 says, are you taking every thought captive and making it obedient to Christ? So whenever you're just absorbing, all kinds of messages are coming at you whether you know it or not. I should look like them. My life should be like that. I should be as successful as they are. I should be as good of an athlete as they are. So if you're just absorbing that, that's what your mind is absorbing, in all honesty. And this verse is saying, take every thought captive and make it obedient to Christ. All right, one last one. It's Philippians 4:8. So, Philippians 4:8 says, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if anything is excellent or worthy of praise, think about these things. Okay, so apply that filter to this, right? I mean, and look, I hear you guys. Not a lot of what's on my phone is true, honorable, just, pure, lovely, commendable, excellent, praiseworthy. I mean, some of what those people can do on TikTok, that's pretty awesome. Like, that might be worthy of praise, right? But all the rest of that, I don't know. So that's why I want y'all to ask. I'm not just up here saying, like, this is what I think and you should do this. I'm saying, here's what the Bible says, and make your own decision about your life, okay? And one last verse for us. It's 1 Corinthians 6:10. This is going to look very, very similar to the other verse in 1 Corinthians. Same letter, right? I have the right to do anything, you say. Yeah, but not everything is beneficial. I have the right to do anything. Here's the difference. But I will not be mastered by anything. I won't be mastered by anything. Okay, another question for you guys. Are you being mastered by your phone? Okay? Just look, honest with yourself, right? If you're just fooling yourself, that doesn't do you any good. Are you being mastered by your phone? Like, take some time to just think about that. I did whenever I was preparing for this lesson. You know what I figured out? The answer was yes, right? Let's be honest with each other. Are you being mastered by your phone? I am. You know how I know that? Because whenever I wake up in the morning, I've got this itch. Okay? We don't have bed bugs. It's not that kind of itch. I've got this itch whenever I wake up in the morning. What is it? Y'all know what I'm talking about? You check the phone. You pick it up. And then what do? Man, I'm so tired. I need 10 more minutes. And I start scrolling. Why do I do that? Oh, I'm tired. It helps me wake up. Yeah, whatever. Okay. Are you being mastered by your phone? That was a clue for me. What do you want to do before you go to bed? What's the last thing in your hands? Your phone, right? You're laying down, you're in bed, and you're like, woo. Are you being mastered by your phone? Okay? I realized a lot of times, the last thing I put down before I go to bed is my phone, and I'm in bed and I'm on my phone, and then the first thing I pick up whenever I wake up is my phone. So I'm working on that. I really am. I'm fighting not to do that. Okay, but it's true. You got to be honest with yourself before you can move forward, right? Okay, so, guys, this is a lot bigger than your phones, right? We're talking about phones tonight. We talked about media last week, but this is a lot bigger than your phones. Okay, so today it's phones, but this filter that I want you to apply to your life, is it good? Is it beneficial? Is it constructive? Is it wise? Does it make me a better person? Does it pull me closer to God? Okay, you can apply that to all kinds of things. There are all kind of gray areas in your life. Like, think about like going to a party, right? You want to go to a party? I don't know. Apply it through that filter. I'm not saying don't go to a party. I'm saying think about it before you just do, all right? The friends that you're with, okay? The food that you eat. There's all kinds of things that can, in one sense, push you closer to God or push you away to God, okay? And then there's less gray areas, right? Obviously. You know, we talk about these in church a lot. Like whenever you go to that party that you're thinking about going to, and then your friends want you to try X, Y, or Z, whether that's drink or that drug, right? Okay, it's a little less gray. Okay, it's more inherently sinful, right? Apply it through that same filter. Okay, maybe it's not that, but maybe it's joining in with everyone else and they're making fun of someone. Okay, it's kind of easy to do. Everyone's kind of like, we call it gossiping. Everyone's kind of like saying the same thing. You just join in, you want to be part of the group. Everyone's laughing about it. It's no big deal. Okay? That was my one for the ladies. I don't have as many things like that as a temptation for the ladies just because I'm not a girl, right? Okay? What about that temptation to watch that video online that you know you ain't got any business watching, fellas? Okay? Lingering too long on that picture that's showing a little too much, fellas? Okay, is it beneficial? Is it wise? Does it push you closer to God? That's what I'm asking you to think about. Okay, as simple as that. Okay, one last quote for you guys. Okay, so this is what, we're going to close with this. We're going to figure out what this means for you guys. Okay, so one last long quote. What does this mean for me? It would seem, again from C.S. Lewis, he says that it would seem that our Lord finds our desires not too strong, but too weak, right? We're half-hearted creatures fooling about with drink and sex and ambition when infinite joy is offered us. Like an ignorant child who wants to go on making mud pies in a slum because he cannot imagine of what is meant by the offer of a holiday at sea. We are far too easily pleased. Guys, I could talk all night about that one quote right there. Okay? We're far too easily pleased. Now he says sex and ambition and drink. Okay, I'm saying technology and media and your phone, okay? We're far too easily pleased by these things that really don't actually please us, right? And we're like, no, I'm good. I want to just go on, keep making my mud pie in the slum, right? You're like, hey, you want to go to the Bahamas? And I'm like, no, I'm good. I got my little mud castle here, okay? Our pleasures need to grow. Okay, our passions need to grow. My prayer for you guys and for myself, you can ask my wife this. This is what I pray for you guys, is that you would get curious about God. Okay, I want your passions multiplied 1,000 times. You don't hear that in church very often, right? I want your desires to go way up here because whenever that happens, you're going to realize that all of this crap, all of this scrolling doesn't satisfy. It's not good enough, right? So that's my prayer, guys, that God would light our hearts and our souls on fire, okay, with a white hot, searing passion for God, okay? And we'd leave all of this just stuff behind, the stuff that doesn't actually satisfy. Use your phone, absolutely. I'm not throwing my phone in the trash can after I get done preaching, right? Use your phone, but use it in a way that betters yourself and brings glory to God. Okay? That's the chief end of man, guys, right there. Is it beneficial? Is it constructive? Is it wise? Is it life-giving? That's my question. Okay? Can y'all do that for me? Can you think about that honestly? Tonight, as we're going into a small group, just talk about that. Be real. Be honest. We ain't fooling nobody. Okay? That's all I got for you guys. Let's pray, and then we'll sing.